And Astralis and Mousesports are no exception. I think they're both on 3-map win streaks on the map right now, and they both played very good teams as well.
I remember the days where Ninjas in Pajamas and Astralis were the main notable teams in Europe on Nuke, and everybody else was definitely a few steps below. Blade Stat team were really notable as well. Had some great executes many years ago. We'll see what the execute is like on the pistol run. A lot of executions on this ramp position for both teams. Glaive finds himself in a 1 versus 4. Acor's been popped. Just needs to isolate some fights here and be quicker on the trigger finger.
Yeah, everyone came to play today. These shots are crazy.
Yeah, if he peeks into B, then elevation could be an issue. Speaking of elevation, most people are downstairs.
Is that one wrapping mini, maybe? Okay, back hell. All right, Dexter. This is a perfect rotation from Dexter because, you know, if it goes back through hut, he can go up the ladder, and if it comes this way, he can take the fight right away. Glaive's aware, but will he catch this off? Very nice from Dexter. And this guy, he hasn't been in Europe very long, but his stats are already starting to pick up to the point where he's one of the most consistent players on the team individually as well.
Yeah, it's good that he fits in stylistically with little adjustment. That is great to see. Well, it's a good start for Mousesports, but we do see a force buy coming through from Astralis on their T side. Plenty of high trying to say high explosive and HE at the same time. But let's see where they go with this.
Huge grenades.
Yeah, I was wondering if there'd be into the main position some double HEs early on, but it will be delayed as we can see. Trying to allow Mousesports into a false sense of security. And that's part of why I picked Astralis in this series, is because of the grenade usage. Just what if we saw an Inferno, for example, it might be quite problematic, and that's perfect timing. Frozen exploded by Decon gives Astralis the man advantage.
It's a very interesting round already. So much to unpack. And there's some adjustments being made. Astralis are covering everything, actually. This is quite a smart round from them in general. More on that in a second. 3 on 5 now. They've got to steal back this eco round.
Acorn needs a headshot here. He won't get one. 5 HP, and that might be it. I think that's the rest of the investment in this round from Mousesports, really.
Let's talk about that for a second. So we pay attention to Frozen's rotations. When he saw the nade smokes outside, he shot a little bit and immediately ran to go to the front of Squeaky because he saw the split coming. So that tells me there was some very confident read there. Then he dropped vent to catch the guys going lower. But Astralis were even aware of his rotations very well. They even caught him with the nade through the smoke when they were crossing to lower, got downstairs. So this already feels like a very high-level match based on the reads that we're seeing. Mousesports being fully well aware of what that whole round was going to look like, but Astralis still being able to win it, and with worse guns.
Oh, man. At least I don't get the M4. But that is a very big punish from Astralis immediately. And what's cool about the utility from Astralis is that, again, they've been leading in terms of grenades and like high explosive grenades and such for a very long time. But as we can see, even in that round, they don't do them at the expected timing where you blow open the squeaky door and immediately put 2 HEs towards main, for example. They do them delayed. They do them like chain HE grenades. We talk about chain flashbangs to enter a choke point. But they're doing that with grenades as well, which keeps their efficacy up and their impact high. That's going to be part of the story in this series for sure. We will see the force buy back from Mousesports. Back and forth like this does not favor the CT side, of course. Acorn will leave AWP money in the hole.
Yeah, they've got more expensive habits over on the CT side.
Very familiar with expensive habits.
You pay 600 for the fire bombs, James.
Yeah, absolutely. I want it in a nice container, you know, not a wine bottle with a rag outside. A man of panache. Well, this force buy has been neutered thus far by Astralis. Again, simply a team which limits your opportunity. But maybe there's something here for Dexter, although he walks into a sandwich.
I think a big reason why Astralis were in that slump was because Magisk wasn't as good as he used to be. Like in the, he's always been the youngest player on the team and the newest, and for the longest time was just probably the strongest, just main rifler. Besides Dupree, they trade places, but in the past couple of months, like while Device was just on the team, those last couple of months, Magisk was really not himself. He wasn't really hitting his same shots. His impact wasn't there. But here at Flashpoint, the last I think 8 series or so, he's been topping up, the 1.20 plus ratings consistently. He's really back in form, and I think that's a big reason why Astralis haven't lost yet. What are we looking at?
That's important to see. Nice burst from Glaive. Got some Deagle shots towards the end there from Mousesports, so at least the players are looking sharp aim-wise. Everybody is on the scoreboard. But this will be a nothing round for Mousesports, most likely, but maybe it's a something round. We have the Hero AK in the hands of Frozen. See him considering putting the smoke out, but since Astralis' smokes were so fast, he'll hold on to it. Fishing for something, not getting much of anything. So we'll see if he rotates that AK-47. It has to be instrumental in a victory here. Dupree not shy to peek some angles. And down goes Dexter. Speaking of down, we can see Astralis heading towards Secret. Bobsky looking for a flank. They don't have that lurker that you'd normally see a bit late on towards T-Red, so he'll just keep an eye on things himself.
Yeah, not expecting that outside presence. And that's exactly one of the reasons why it feels like they know each other so well. So right now, they've got Frozen sitting in the big garage, but no one's trying to flank Secret. There's no CTs out here pressed up against Red. And it feels like Astralis are not playing to anticipate that.
1 minute on the clock, and I would expect at this point there's a reasonable chance that Frozen just holds on to what he has. Unless he gets engaged up top, of course. We can see rotation being limited by the positions of Astralis, really holding a complete formation here.
Yeah, this is different, man. Even for an anti-eco, this is kind of crazy. Normally you'd have, your squeaky lurker to catch the vent rotators, or the hut lurker for different kinds of plays. But almost never you'd have both like this.
It's like a military formation, Astralis.
I like this.
That's basically what I'm seeing now. It's like they've got like military precision. They're really being as efficient and effective as possible, yeah. And that's why you can never just put them by the wayside.
Definitely. And Glaive's a true champion. He always comes off as unassuming and jokes about his own performances and stuff like that, but he's a 4 times major champion and has the title of best IGL of all time. He has a lot to prove, I think, with any lineup that he leads.
Damn, if he goes 5-time, I want to see some Spinneroonies.
That would be insane.
T-style. Get the gloves out.
Yeah.
Well, Mousesports on the buy, A-Core, AWP, utility, quite light, but they have position, such as the nature of the CT side.
I gotta say, Astralis are looking well drilled right now. Very well drilled. Some fresh stuff here. And that was, of course, roses because Mousesports didn't have much money to stop them. So they had 3 cross. There was no trades downstairs. But this is it's already a little bit of a weird round for Mousesports. They don't have much utility here.
Yeah, so it's a light situation. And I would imagine A-Core would be looking to force some action to make up for that lack of utility. But for now, they'll be waiting. Some pot shots showing some presence from Heaven. And Astralis will quietly walk past.
No pressure outside for Mousesports.
Yeah. This is the problem with Astralis, though. Like, if you respect your opponent, then too much, then that is a handicap for you. But if you respect them too little and you walk into their traps, then it's a fine balance to hold.
Catch 22.
They heard 1 player by Secret, but there are 3 of them. There's a boost peak, and Dexter will be more exposed than he was expecting. We've got Dupree holding the event rotation, and indeed Astralis make their way. They're just outmaneuvering with military precision.
Yeah, part of the problem is, number one, they come into the round with such low utility. They don't have enough. They can't actually get enough control of things or create space. They're limited to like waiting for Astralis to make a mistake, and that outside cross is kind of the perfect counter to what we saw. Also, I think Astralis are putting pressure on the fact that Mousesports, they're not spamming the smokes. They had A-Core put some shots through the off, but Frozen has not been shooting any bullets on that cross. No nades have been dropped on that cross whatsoever. Look at Astralis have 500 HP and got downstairs and planted the bomb. This is a horrible sign for Mousesports, and I think there should have been at least 1 player who got some utility to be able to counter, and then got an MP9 or a FAMAS and got some nades. But I mean, at this level, there's got to be 1 or 2 players to make a concession on their gun in favor of utility, because you are going to lose to the better team more often. This is a good example. Now, in terms of consequences, it's not so bad because they save 4, and so they can rebuy, and in fact now they can get their utility as well. But that round was a wash. There was very little. I would say if Glaive were to look at this round before it starts, see their utility, and if he had any idea of what it would be like, he would say, we have a really good chance of winning this round. This is going to be so difficult for them to pull anything off.
Well, they were somewhat ill-equipped in the round prior. And that's a great difference from Frozen. Gets the opening kill on Bubsky. It's the kind of thing that maybe they needed in the previous round, but round number 6, Mousesports find their feet. It's a good spray, ducked by Glaive as he makes his way towards Secret. Again, Astralis really not giving many sound cues. There were footsteps from maybe one player in Secret previously after 3 went past, but apart from that, it is pure chess from Astralis.
Oh, man. Poor Frozen. I mean, he's done already so much. He got a kill. He's keeping eyes outside, and he's not hanging out around Big Garage in a way that he can get flanked. So Glaive has no one to hunt down just yet. In fact, Frozen's got the better angle for Glaive if he comes up to fight him. And Frozen also, obviously, is keeping tabs on the back of Mini. So here, that's his, his duel to win for sure. 3 on 5.
Smoke about to dissipate from a squeaky position. You can see Frozen still fishing outside. That's the bomb being shown by Magisk alone and now dropped. So this is a pretty dry round for Astralis, but they can look to have some impact. Fast 2K from Dupree. He doesn't get enough ratings for his burst ability with rifles, Dupree. It is absolutely outrageous. On the B-bomb side of Vertigo, we've seen some disgusting things from him, and maybe we'll see them later on if it goes to a third map.
Frozen's got 4 kills here, looking for 5 to cap it off. Oh, Dupree trying to be annoying as possible with the way he approached that. Acor takes him out, but the round's all about Frozen outside. It's such a stark difference to even what we saw last round. He put down shots for the opening kill on the cross, and once you get that opening kill, the T's just start making bad decisions. So from there, he was able to capitalize. This is the kind of ferocity that he needed. He almost even got some damage off on Glaive on the second part of that cross. He was not spamming at all in the last 2 rounds. So honestly, I feel like I'd like to see some more support for Frozen, in fact. Some more flashes for him to be able to peek things. Because right now, he's literally just trying to shoot as much as possible. But he's at risk at every single time that he takes these duels.
Yeah, 4 1v1s collected by Frozen, or 3.5 if you will. One was through the smoke. Very good job indeed. You can see he was a big target for Astralis to have denial of information outside. Trying to keep an eye on what's going on. We've got the closer smoke grenades from Astralis. They've got the anti-eco position in the lobby. Dupree creeps through the smoke. That is brazen, but he's not quite sharp this time, and Dexter will get a 5 versus 4 for Mousesports. They've got a player on event as well. 3 men now in the lobby for Astralis, and they'll be dependent on Glaive to try and find something here as they're smoked off from Squeaky. 1 minute on the clock for Astralis to make a play.
This is a type of play that Glaive likes to make a lot, so they know it. And again, Frozen, he's got a passive position, but it's just going to deny a certain amount of space here. And Robs, he's got an angle to get 1. Knowing it's Robs, he could probably get 2, but will they clear him is the question.
The bait setup works perfectly. Focus on Rops. Frozen pops out. He has the off angle for the instant trade frag attempt at least. Starting to move away, but Rops does not need the help. Glaive now left alone as things start to slow down for Astralis as Mousesports start to grow in terms of their economy. Oh, knife out. Oh, Frozen's whiffed that one. 16 seconds, not much more for Glaive to do. I don't see a bomb plant coming, but... Oh, maybe. Let's see. We do have Acor down here, so it should be nigh on impossible. Misses the shot, and Glaive will be like, nope, I'm out of here.
Club's closed. Oh, he can die after time. And he will, in fact, actually. That's no money.
1 second.
1 second ago? Oh, okay, okay. Wow, thought it was. Okay, well, another great round from Frozen. Okay, what we see is that Frozen's at ramp to catch him, to catch the execute on a ramp. But, what we forget is that Frozen was the guy responsible for outside. So he made the executive decision to come and overstack towards ramp. Rob's had this perfect bait setup with him, and it looks so easy. But, for him to make that decision to evacuate outside after Dexter gets his kill in mini, this is what really makes the round a lot easier. So Frozen's been going huge, really, in a way that it feels like Acor should be with, controlling outside. But he hasn't been that necessary. Frozen's been doing all the work.
Some early harassment into A from Astralis. Mousesports looking to build a nice half now on their CT side, which is important. Not even seeing too much spray through the huts and such.
Yeah, so quiet.
Yeah, which is very, very nervous territory for a CT side.
I feel like the #1 thing in 2018, besides those HEs that you were talking about with Astralis, was the fact that if you ever used a little bit more utility than you were supposed to, they were just going to put their foot on your neck. So everyone's trying to play this game of chicken.
Oh, the collision! Ooh. That was the clue they needed. And they will begin the trade. Bemis gets deleted, and that's the A bomb site taken. See if they can get the Molotov up towards the top. Indeed, they can. You can see that. That's going to force Mousesports away. 3 versus 4 scenario for them. The money's not spectacular for Mousesports, so decisions need to be made. They have just the 1 flashbang. So they may fish for some kind of kill. Acorn may drop a smoke here for the retake. It does obscure vision from the low ground. Bowski holding angles now. Ooh, that's a nice tag from Acor, but it looks like a save for Mousesports.
Oh, is that? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, they're likely to lose everything if they push in here and then be back on eco territory, and that's not somewhere they want to be.
The entry's been super strong. That second duel onto BMAS, he gets a little nervous. Goes quiet upstairs for a second. They're in the smoke. He tries to drop off the hut because he was last spotted there. Magis just pushes through because he recognizes the immediacy of the situation. Kills BMAS, and then there's no way to hold upstairs. If there was that kill, I mean, it totally tips the scales here. 4-3 would have been 3-2, or 4-3 in favor of Mousesports, excuse me, in terms of players, and then they could talk. But even on that previous round where it was like a 2-on-4 situation, we had Dupree come upstairs and get 2 kills, and it's not inconsequential. It actually, affects the money in a really important way. Mousesports will only potentially have 1 buy after this. Might even have to save. They'll go right into the 2-op setup, in fact, and put an op in the hands of Rops. And I like this because the rounds have been kind of quiet here, even for Astralis. Wow, what a pre-aim.
Yes.
I'm actually shocked that didn't land.
Probably moving in accuracy. That was so quick from him. Love this pace there from Dupree. Some warning shots of a very different pace to what we've seen in the previous rounds on the T side. Lots of different looks from Astralis, but one thing is mostly consistent is how slow it's been. It was almost, the way they just went into A like last round was almost like a diver just emerging from the depths. A nice flick from Dupree outside, really hunting for these kills. 2 AWPs persisto for Mousesports. There is the first one from Rops. And now some of the position has been conceded. Chain flashes easily avoided. Does he have any help from the other side? Indeed he does. There's a swing for Acor. Not sure if people have passed him already, and he is going to get dropped. Completely misses that one. Oh. Then there were 3.
This is actually such a nice move back, I think, because Rops drops down, and that op is super powerful, but it's also kind of scared, right? He can't really come back and reclaim ramp control safely or in good conscience. So I think Astralis are going to try to use this to lock Rops into downstairs, make his rotation really hard, and I think they're actually going to come down to him. Wow. Okay, maybe they will actually run into this. We'll see.
They're so good with the angles, though.
Wow, yeah. I mean, they can't expect him here, though. Yeah. This is crazy. This is actually crazy brave from Robs. Oh, and another great jiggle.
Yep, stereo frags for Astralis. Wondering where Bemis is. Currently on the A-bomb site. Dupree lurking and looking. Got to be careful not to give up the AWP. Bemis is looking to go for it, it seems. He has a defuse kit, so we'll see what opportunity is afforded to him. Such a hard CT side. Just a lack of information being offered. Almost a full spray. 1 more bullet, and who knows? Zipex on 3 HP. And if he just fires that 1 bullet,
you never know
he probably goes for that, right?
Yeah.
But he has no idea.
You know, Mousesports lose this round, but I will say I felt like I was going to eat my words with the way that Robs played it on ramp. I was pretty impressed. Number 1, when he missed the first shot and they jiggled him at the top of ramp, I was like, it's over. He's got to leave and he can't have impact anymore. But he decided to wait there to dodge flashes and then just trust that he hit the next shot. And Astralis assumed he would leave because he was scared he didn't. And then when they came in for the second fight, he even stood on an angle that you'd think, this is pretty brave to be here as well. And almost brought the round back, but they hit him with another amazing jiggle and then got him killed. I think Robs played this situation really well. But Astralis, of course, even just slightly better.
Mousesports have eked out to buy still pretty reasonable utility. 2 incendiaries, 3 smokes. Flashbangs are reasonable as well. Frozen's going to find a gap. See how many more cross. He knows that one's gone. Glaive can go around the Molotov. Magis is going to get caught out with the bomb, however. What does Frozen do now? Bomb at his feet. Dupree holding the angle straight in the face. Thank you for playing. That'll be in Astralis' favour. They've got some possession downstairs. can see Rops at the bottom of the stairs crouching now, not wanting to get end up in the same fate as Dexter did previously with the boost peak. And again, it slows down an Astralis cut noise.
We have to reassess the position now that Glaive has found this outpost into secret, especially with the bomb here. So the options are, of course, to try to drop via ramp and also play the clock a bit more because they have Dupree controlling outside to see if the CTs feel some pressure to make a move. Now, the natural adjustment for the CTs is to go and take over like lobby control, for example, but because sometimes that is so obvious, you don't want to do it. No, they are still in 4v4, so they don't have every incentive in the world. But still, you know, Astralis want to maximize the clock since they have the time to work with, and they've already made good progress.
Plenty of rope being offered for Mousesports to hang themselves with, but they won't take the bait. That's a great response. Oh, he gets, oh no, Robs and Dexter combined. The 2 smoke kills, great position from Dexter, sees the bomb as well. And this round has changed dramatically. Patience paying off for Mousesports.
No way he did that. Spider-Man. Didn't even drop to hit the... If he had, you know, quietly tried to get down the ladder and then softly touched the ground and then waited for them to drop, I think he would have missed the timing.
Dupree has to no powder there. There's still money for a full buy for Astralis. But this is a hard-fought for 4th round from Mousesports. What do you think of these rounds from like Mousesports' perspective in terms of just the lack of information? There's sudden surges here and there from Astralis, but how difficult do you think this is to play against?
Right now, I think they're putting so much stock in Frozen. He's getting all the info for them outside. He's already locked down 2 crosses. He's got the opening kill in 2 rounds that they won. He has even got some more damage off on another player, or at least some info. Dupree's opting outside, for example. 1 crossed already later. He really just has been the only person to illuminate the rounds for Mousesports at all. Without him, like you're saying, I think Mousesports are almost blind gambling almost every round. So, to me, I'm a little bit worried about that volatility. Like, typically, it's your opper that you want to have trying to get that info more often because they can get it and survive. But Acor, he's just been getting a kill here or there. It's another opening, which is worth more than any other kill, but Astralis already trade for some positional compensation. They get lower again quite quickly. Acor's made a nice rotation downstairs. Bomb clearly still hasn't made a decision yet.
So dangerous to seek information versus a team such as this.
It's amazing to watch Astralis sometimes because they play differently versus different opponents. They don't just play their game, actually. And here they are trying to punish this lurky style of Mousesports, but Mousesports staying 1 step ahead.
Frozen's position, very important. Bomb dropped in no man's land, completely exposed. But maybe there's a chance if they can keep dwindling the numbers. There's reasonable time left for Astralis, but again, that bomb is an issue. Question is, how do Mousesports position themselves to give Frozen some help outside? That objective is going to be quite difficult to defend.
He finds a nice position on this corner where any lurk outside, he's going to have a favorable CT engagement for. Oh, 1 comes in the window. He can also hide from that. That's beautiful, man.
Well then, Dupree can race into the bomb site. The Molotov will try to stop him, but he gets into it early, but just before he can make it to the site, Bemis is waiting for him. Massive headshot delivered, 5 rounds for Mousesports.
I remember this game where it was at DreamHack Masters back in winter. There's so many actually reference games from that tournament, but Astralis played against Furia, and the most startling part about that was when Astralis played against Furia, they played with so much aggression to counter the aggression of Furia. But then you see them match up against different teams stylistically, like they know these rounds are going to be quieter and a little bit longer, and they are trying to abuse that versus Mousesports. The game plan seems so specifically tailored towards Mousesports, which I can imagine makes it hard to play against, because Mousesports going to watch some demos, try to get a read on the situation, and Astralis are going to have a game plan that's just looking at their demo specifically. Now this lurk gets caught off. One more time, man. The amount of different spots and angles that Frozen is getting his kill from, this guy's anything but a one-dimensional player on this CT side.
Well, the main issue has been eliminated, and the rest will soon follow. Mousesports now building something here on their CT side. The score is tied 6-6, but Astralis will be back on the bye.
So we've had these instances of explosivity in the early round. Like we had the Dupree opening duel where he attempted it upstairs. Even stuff like that can get your opponents to use their grenades a little bit too early. And I think it's been a minute since we've seen Astralis try to implore something like that. So I imagine they're going to test the waters with maybe something a bit faster. And I think that the tough part for them mentally is that they've gotten a lot of good map control from going outside. But along the way, Frozen have been doing a great job of picking them off. So, hey, you're going a little bit too far. Hey, I got your teammate second in. So again, they throw the exact same smokes. I mean, Glaive's always about conditioning, but this time nobody's crossed.
Always a classic setup for Fnatic to show the same round but a different finish. Rop's in a forward position now. I feel like Mousesports are starting to bounce around a bit more, feeling some more confidence. We can see Acorn now starting to head forward. But again, Astralis are waiting. They're always waiting, and that's a superior angle for Dupree. Pretty hard for Rops to come out on top of that one. But Acor is here in possession of the ramp. 1 minute on the clock now as Astralis start to poke and prod. Astralis are quite light on utility, it must be noted, at this juncture. They've got a few flashbangs, a few mollies.
Yeah, that actually makes that push, throws around in question for Mousesports, because like up until that point, yeah, like you mentioned, Astralis didn't have that many tools to try to win some fights. Acor, it's not kind of a bait setup with Acor rotating in a ramp quickly, but they don't push off of that. They don't fall for it.
Yeah, even with just the one smoke grenade, still heading outside, 3 players. Acor busy at the ramp though as the bomb makes its way downstairs. 22 seconds and the bomb's in secret. Dupree making an entry on the A bomb sites in the meantime. Where do Mousesports go? How many sound cues do they have going downstairs? Dupree charging into A now. He's entertaining. He's got a fine bone China at the tea plates. The afternoon tea. The scones, everything.
Any
Frozen and Acor remain. That's it.
Any doilies?
Any doilies? I don't know what a doily. Freya probably knows what a doily is.
Okay, a doily. It's like a skirt for a cup. Well, you put it on the table, and then you can put the. It's kind of like a like you'd have like for a beer, you'd have what'd you call that?
The beer mats.
Yeah, beer mat. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like usually grandmothers have them. Doilies.
Send me pictures of doilies, people.
I mean, they look like snowflakes. They like kind of stitched together. You know what I'm saying? They're like white and.
I think I do.
Yeah.
I think I do.
Thought it was something that you'd goes with tea.
Round number 7 is on the board for Astralis. How many rounds are you ideally looking for from Mousesports on this CT side?
This game is so much more than rounds for me, where it doesn't feel like they're just trying to meet a quota. This feels very, very high level to the point that I think there's no telling, even in the second half, what happens. There's so much preparation that clearly went into this game, and everybody's actually doing well. Dupree was one of the question marks for me because his individual performance has been up and down since, he's picked up a few new roles. Bubsky is, he's down there, but the round score overall is like not bad. So here's a change of pace. They run upstairs quickly. Entries for Bubsky and Magus. Answered back by 2 CTs. Frozen tries to push through and find 1, but he only gets some damage.
That is a huge kill. Frozen's been such a problem for them. Astralis abusing numbers on the A-bomb site, and Acor's forced away again. 2 versus 3 with some high ground advantage. I'd imagine they'll give this a go, Mousesports. Rops picks up the second AWP. You can see him creeping now. 2 AWP retake, not the easiest thing. And with those smokes up reasonably fresh, Zipex still has 1 in the hole. That may limit the options for Mousesports after all.
So to go back to that quickly, we take a look at Bubsky's, 2 and 8, and he only had 1 and 8 before this round. Without his kill, maybe they lose. Like, it's actually nuts how much that value that 1 kill has. But nonetheless, his T-side performance is something I looked at before this match overall in the team. Because when he was a sub, this was the harder side for him, especially on Nuke. On CT side, he was getting better and better. On T side, it felt like he faded into the background, kind of like Zipex a little bit, where in that clutch situation like Maui's talking about, all eyes on Zipex. He has such a high percentage chance of actually winning the round. But in those 5v5 situations, it's hard for you to actually talk about a situation where Zipex was the key person in the half on the T side overall in the mid round. Dupree's going for the opening kills. It's Glaive crossing outside aggressively. Those guys are mostly in the backgrounds looking for refrags, and Bubsky has had trouble finding impact. Even though you'd think his brand of Counter-Strike suits nicely to any T-sides overall, they're still working on integrating him into the roster. Now, on the bright side, in some of their bigger matches, like versus G2, he was a top performer on T-side, but he still is one of the most consistent T-side players on the team right now.
Last round of the first half. A common start with Squeaky blown off. Glaive walking in dry once again. Not really for Dex's angle there with a FAMAS. 2 of the French guard. It's an overperformance from him. Great position held by Mousesports. Smokes up and mollies, and the Astralis can do no more. They got nothing from that situation. Now they are severely disadvantaged. Rops may have a free one, trying to bait the shot, but that'll fail. Lost the angle himself, and Dupree will get revenge. That's only the first kill for Astralis. That's some serious airtime from Dupree. They've got some position towards the B bomb site, but how on earth can they hold on to things here, 2 versus 4? Amoli to take control of control. They've got 59 seconds looking for a fast bomb plant while the grenades are up, but Frozen has other ideas about this round, other intentions. Bubsky now, 50 seconds on the clock, needs a multi-frag here. He's in so much trouble, dancing around the smoke. We've got one by Decon as well. Pressing forward, Dexter on 2 HP. Won't be the easiest clutch in the world, moving to the AWP here. That's an interesting approach, 56 HP. Door is open once again, he knows one is close. Scopes in, they'll hit that scope. Switches to a Desert Eagle though, catches Dexter off guard, throwing a grenade. And then there are 2 more to find. Oh my God, how's he found that one? He has angles on the bomb now. Has he got the flick? No, Beamers!
Oh my God.
Jesus, Louise, how did he even see him?
I didn't even realize the op was an option in that situation. He almost had the entire thing mapped out.
That is quite an explosive way to finish a very labored half here. Very tight between these 2 squads. Just 1 round in it. Where does this go after the break? Find out after the break. That was a crap throw season. After a very interesting, nervous and scary pace set by Astralis on the T side, I do wonder how things will look now that Mousesports will be able to do the same on their T side. First comes the pistol though. Wow. Zipex has been made the raid boss with the dual elites.
Yeah, you see his odds swing actually like greatly in favor of Astralis at the end of the half. The live odds, of course, the confidence for Astralis going quite up. I will say it. I mean, the first half does not determine the results in the second. You know, we switch sides. Who knows what the preparation will look like? But we do know. I mean, this is one of the best CT Nuke teams in history. So either result wouldn't surprise me. Cross downstairs, left one to lurk.
Ooh. Oh, he's really looking for that second one. Quick jiggle. He is at the point of no return now. Dupree. There's a traffic jam, but they'll force their way through. Another barricade coming. Oh my God, the HEs, the high explosives. Let's call it the Astralis grenade. It's a nice pop from Rops P250. Will be noted.
The vents, they can come up the vents now.
Indeed they can. Glaive has a high ground though towards heaven and multiple targets. If he can stay alive for the retake, that'll be something for Astralis. May not want to fight to the death here if he can try and avoid it. Spots a call by Squeaky. There's some information. He pretty much knows where everybody is roughly, which will help Astralis start to move in. That should have been a free headshot for Bubsky. Too many shots to the chest and down he goes. Advantage Mousesports. No more HE grenades for Astralis. Has to be done with the pistols. Rops holding up and now it's just Magic 1 versus 3. Frozen continues to be a problem for Astralis as Mousesports take the pistol.
He's been very good. I think the nicest shot of the round there was Rops. Clean one to the top of hut. Opened the rotations up upstairs. And Astralis were smart enough to leave someone there, but Rops still countered him. But that round for me was a bit messy. There was a lot of shot. Dupree hit a very nice shot to kick things. And then there's this where there's just so many bullets that it's just like rubber bullets for the rest of the round, basically. The Glocks look good. But the amount of times that USP had an open duel, Bubsky there, player who dropped into upstairs, they should have won that fight. They didn't win it.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing about like the PT50 on the CT side has better armor penetration. So if you are hitting people in the chest, it makes more of a difference. That is quite the drive-by from Dexter. Worthy of a rap video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never see the PT50 on because of the range for the headshots, right? On a CT side and a pistol round, but for armor pen, if it's going to be up close, it is something to consider. The Mousesports numbers being abused towards the B bomb site. Bubsky controlling control.
Yeah, they broke one window, so you might know. But this is a strong spot, actually, Bubsky. You need control of control room to be safe. Look how the team gets split. My God, Frozen. He does it all. He is a problem. You're right, James. Wow.
17 for 8. He is just growing with power. God of War over here.
He's one of those players just like Rops, right? It's kind of like having Electronic on a team with Simple. If they were on their own teams, they would be thoroughbred superstars that we would only talk about by themselves. But he's on a team with Rops, so he gets overshadowed. But Frozen, he's one of those. He was the guy when he was 13 years old. People were on Reddit talking about this kid, how he was going to be the next generation talent to look out for. And for my money, one of the best in the role. Getting better by the day. He actually came back. 2020, he had all-time lows in his career. But actually, a lot of the Tier 1 talent had all-time lows in 2020. It was a tough year for everybody, for many reasons. So, but since then, he's brought it back drastically. I mean, go look at that graph for yourself on HLTV. Frozen has recovered his form dramatically.
We've got a Desert Eagle for Magisk. And a PT50 for Bubsky. Apart from that, it's more or less clean eco from Astralis. We'll see what their first full buy round looks like soon enough. But first, Mousesports will be patient, giving Astralis an opportunity to make any plays and walk into their rifles and UMP for Rops. Well then, in they go to the A-bomb site. Beamers clearing CT red. CT event, sorry.
Nothing like a free site. Do I have it wrong? Was it Mousesports who beat Astralis in their map win streak in 2018? Remember the first team that did it? Was it Mousesports?
Don't ask me to remember something. It's not a good idea.
You might have been casting, James.
I think I was. This is the problem with having horrible sleep, Launders, is that you don't remember anything.
It's an asthma issue.
Yeah, well, that doesn't affect your memory, but...
No, I mean the sleep. True.
Yeah. My memory is almost non-existent.
Dog water.
Well then, Mousesports win the pistol. They've won both pistols now. They got reset on the first half. This time they win the consecutives, and the game really begins into the meat and potatoes now. Gravy optional. Org for Zipex, the rest with M4A4s, and some good utility for Astralis. Oh, look at that. Chunky damage with a HE from Astralis. Never saw that one coming. Frozen will be outside once again. The sentry for Mousesports.
Look, I want to draw a contrast, okay, because I feel like Mousesports misplayed a bit in the first half where they didn't put enough pressure outside. I don't want to pay attention to how Astralis deal with outside. And look how seriously they take it. Glaive, man, he is not going to be shy here. They've also got Dupree inside secret. I don't think Dupree's position is known yet. He made this early rotation to stack it. Means upstairs a little light right now. There's no one in front of Squeaky, even though Magisk is the one who's responsible for it. And still, we've got a CT peek. That is actually a lot of info for Bubsky to get away with. This will rock Mousesports,
Yeah, Dupree had this plenty of sound cues from Secret as well, so
Yeah.
they know that Mousesports are targeting the heaven position, and there he pops up
Great.
to deny Frozen. Then we find ourselves in a 4 versus 3.
The amount of options, as soon as Bubsky sees 3 people outside, the amount of options for the CTs are limitless. Number 1, Dupree knows his targets aren't coming towards him. Number 2, they can take hut control because lobby is understaffed. And Rops actually only has a UMP here. But this starts with Glaive getting the opening kill like Frozen, getting lots of damage off, and then also overstacking outside in general.
25 seconds on the clock. There are 3 Astralis players on the high ground. i.e. on the B bomb side. Bubsky with the most awkward angle possible. Buys enough time for Magis to instantly trade. 3 survive for Astralis, and they move to 9.
I don't know how to spray from that angle.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's horrible, yeah.
It's extremely awkward.
Some people can put themselves in these positions, they're fine. But here, we'll not watch Glaive for the rest of this half. But when it comes to drawing a contrast to Frozen, I think that's going to be one of the most interesting stories here. If Glaive is actually playing well, Frozen's playing well, them going to head-to-head I think will be interesting. And Glaive is the guy who is he's the warden of outside on this team. But they're actually doing the exact same play. Interesting. And the fast cross is coming too. Sheets have no idea. Dupree might even get 2. He gets some damage at least. Confirms 2 more on the cross. Again, this opens up lobby to be pushed, and Glaive is still here. Look at spamming down smokes.
High explosive kill.
He said, I don't care if you know where I am. I'm going to get some damage off if you don't try to kill me, and that is the op-down outside.
Their grenade damage is, I'll never take it for granted. It's just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. 4 versus 2. Shut down. Magis pushes lobby again, and Rops there's too many angles for him to deal with. And that leaves Bemis with 1 minute on the clock and an AWP half health.
That was audacious, for Mousesports. No, that was audacious for Astralis, excuse me, to copy and paste their play from last rounds. And even funnier that Mousesports went with the same play as well. Rock, paper, scissors, and both people picked the same thing twice.
Yeah, the CTs always need to be offering different looks so as not to be targeted based on their habits. But Astralis may be playing against that expectation. Some jump peeking, and Bemis has been spotted. He's against the clock now. Gotta find a kill here. The crosshairs was in the right place. That was pretty respectable, but Bubsky had superior angle, information time. Steals the AWP as well, as the score is now tied with Mousesports looking at a potential eco here. Rops is 4150, but the rest of them about 2,500.
Funny part is about Glaive is he actually talks about his individual level a lot, especially for someone who's been known to bring in the tactics and the strategy and push the limits. In that regard, he often puts performances down to how well he played. And today he's actually having a really, really strong game. He's 11 and 13, but if you have a pair of eyes, you can see how much impact he's had already.
You can see it with one eye as well. Let's not
malign
people, Launders.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be inclusive.
Maybe you can hear it as well, in case you can't see it all.
3 Desert Eagles and a P250 for Mousesports.
Didn't mean to alienate anyone.
I remember there was a blind person who played Mortal Kombat. I only saw it on YouTube though.
I'd be sad if I lost to someone who was blind playing Mortal Kombat.
Especially because it has a dedicated block button as well. Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
And did they win or like a lot?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine it was like select highlights because it's YouTube, right? So
yeah. Grinds 1,000 games. But there was a blind StarCraft player in Korea.
Really?
I actually don't even remember this.
How?
People are nuts, man. I watch a lot of Dark Souls. People have beat that game with instruments. I've seen someone beat it with potatoes.
Potatoes?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I need links, Launders.
Yeah, I'll give you all the links.
Okay, I want to feed me information. I want to see
a guitar hero, DDR Matt. I've seen someone beat Dark Souls blind with a blindfold. Everything. Humans have no limits. It's like Ilwid Chepchoge said.
No limits and no lives.
I want to see what the limits of the human mind are. Let's push it.
Well, we're seeing the limits of efficiency with high explosive grenades from Astralis at present. We're back on the bye once again, and they move into the lead with 3 rounds in a row, 11 to 10, and AWP on both sides. AK-47's out for 4 of the 5 Mousesports players, and Magis just continues pressing forward, but Acor is expectant. Astralis raising the heat, or trying to, but Mousesports have picked the right play this time. Or have they? Glaive still creeping outside just when you thought it was safe to take some liberties. All the smoke will be deployed, but if Mousesports don't go outside, they have to assume that Astralis know this based on Glaive's position.
That was right on the lineup. And this is a strong off angle, and the AUG makes it even stronger. AK might stick out in this spot. Xyp9x nails one, but a great refrag. I mean, the spacing is impeccable. Bubsky from up top sees the bomb in his vision. One in front of Squeaky, and this is a problem for the CTs. It's now a one-on-one. Flick comes in from Dupree. He has been lights out today. Decides not to. Oh, make that rotation.
Shut it down.
Wow.
Just the one-tap Dupree, man. We're talking about his burst being utterly horrendous if you're on the receiving end of it, but that's just domination. That's domination right there.
Yeah. It's not often you see Rops get shot in the back of the head.
My God, he's the devil car in Ridge Racer, man. He's a beast.
The trades are tight here, man.
We don't deserve Dupree.
No kidding.
The way he kills people is savage.
And he's got the hardest, you know, he's up before. He's up for an entire tournament, but he's got the hardest job in terms of role switches right now with Device leaving. The shoes are just that big.
The statement maker. Dupree. Oof, I felt that one in my bones.
He's also not like Device. So even if you switch his 2 Device's role, they've got to bring a different culture into the lineup. It's got to be a new team.
Exactly.
That's the real challenge.
They can't replicate, they must innovate.
Yeah.
4 Desert Eagles on the road for Mousesports. Dupree a footman. Not really finding what he's looking for on that occasion. And downstairs we go. 1 minute on the clock. Mousesports would love a bomb plant. And there's a reasonable chance of that. Xyp9x the only man downstairs at present. They creep towards the bomb site. Maybe inspired by the Astralis peak in the first half. We'll have that boost. Looking towards Decon. Have you ever worn a hazmat suit?
I wore one in China, but I think I was supposed to get fined for it. I was in the hotel room. It was like a fire.
Okay, never mind. So Mousesports are moving into the B bomb site, and there's potential for a rifle. I just wasn't expecting that response at all. That's a nice headshot from Dupree, up close. An important one. If they lost that AWP, then who knows what happens. He's low, though. He's in trouble. The jiggle could be a problem. He actually goes for it as well, but Frozen's got a taps it. That's a big escalation now. Dexter with the Desert Eagle will make things even more interesting. Acor doesn't have any Kevlar, but Frozen's doing the job with this AUG. 2 kills so far. It's at 1 versus 2 now. Bubsky on the bomb. Sure, he doesn't get all of this, and indeed, we were looking at a bomb plant, but somehow Mousesports managed to convert it into a round, a very expensive round for Astralis.
Yeah, that's Frozen all day again, showing that he's a two-way player at this point, because now on T side the impact is almost equivalent to what he was doing on CT. This is beautiful. The movement from him is fantastic, and this is a losing situation all the way through. And in a game like this, I think it's going to be rare to pull off an eco. I think we've got 1 each per team now. And just with how of quality I think these rounds have been from both sides, it's very unlikely to see a situation like that be pulled back. But some great AUG work, and that's kind of sometimes why you don't buy the AUG, because you don't want even the Ts to get it.
Yeah, it does shred. This is a very big round for Mousesports. There's a lot of potential in this one round, because if they can break Astralis here, this could be the run to keep them on the back foot, keep them a bit broke, and maybe steal Nuke away. The pick of Astralis. Frozen having a look, but Glaive will decide when he chooses to engage, and Frozen won't know if there's other angles being held here. Glaive just teasing, showing a bit of flesh, slowing Mousesports down somewhat. We can see them heading towards the ramp area now, where Xyp9x waits. He doesn't have much support at the moment, but Glaive is on the way, so perhaps there's a hard read here.
Yeah, wow, the op is coming in to lead, and there's an opportunity for a pick, but the peak is so annoying here from Glaive. And he's not going to give him another one. You know, this is all he has to do.
There are no grenades on the ramp for Xyp9x or Glaive, so there's not much they can do really. And you can see they're choosing not to engage, but hold position instead. They have a smoke, and that's it.
They can kind of contain here. They got the 2 rotations downstairs, and now Rops is here to watch out Actually, you know, Mousesports have a really good amount of control. They've still got a player outside, back mini, and there's only one person upstairs. It's a perfect opportunity for Mousesports to hit upstairs, and I think they know, since seeing Glaive, that the rotation has come this way. Props comes this way out of Squeaky, and then they just bust. There's actually 3, but one of those players is in Vent. He had no chance of actually winning the duel. This is a fantastic round from Mousesports. You know, made possible by Frozen telling them that nobody had pushed outside, and by Robs making sure that no lobby crunch had come in.
Yeah, again, this is a huge opportunity which has been seized by Mousesports, just taking all the money away from Astralis. And when we're this deep into the game, that's a problem. If they, we'll see what Astralis choose to do with the weapons that they're holding on to, if they buy around them. There are tough decisions that have to be made now by the Danish side. And Mousesports indeed have put themselves in a very strong position late on Nuke.
This might give them 14 based on the money. Depends how the rest of this round goes. And that's already 5,000 bucks down the drain.
That's another huge kill, which actually quite limits their decisions even more.
The investment is going to be minimal around this op. I don't know if they try to force invest. We have 2 rounds in one in a row for Mousesports, so that's a bit of leverage for Astralis to get back to the buy quickly, but we'll see if Zonic can crunch the numbers. I don't know if they're doing the math for everything they need just yet. Well, I think they should. It might have been a good round to actually call a pause, because this is kind of a. I don't think it's totally clear exactly what's going to happen in the future. And then on top of that, they've got to figure out a cool play for Dupree on this round. But maybe he has a good idea already.
Yeah, their money is together at least, Astralis. Almost everybody, the average is like 2,200.
They stacked upstairs. If Mousesports come into this blind, Dupree has full information outside. No CTs are going to move. They are scared of lobby.
Yeah, the problem is they have USPs, Astralis. They've got pea shooters, potato guns. Zipex makes his one work, but I think the result here is somewhat inevitable, and now Dupree has a lot of time to try and hide. Just shift walking away. See where he opts to go.
I don't think an op's coming otherwise, at least no op on armor, nades, or anything, so it's important. Sometimes we turn our brains off in these, you know, post-round situations where there's a save going on, but if we had a look into Dupree's mind, he's sweating a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how much respect he's given. Very important he holds on to this. But for Mousesports, they've got such a chance now. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Ooh, you have to wonder about the backpack on his back and so on, if it's been showing.
He doesn't seem like Dexter knows.
Does he run out the door to avoid the bomb?
This is just, there's just so many ways. Oh my god, he actually will. But he won't get spotted. He's all good. And yeah, this makes a difference, man. They're going to buy behind this. And now they have the full rifles. And Dupree and Zipex could have bought it up, but no armor, no nades. Now they'll have full everything. This to defend against 14. Astralis with 3-round loss.
Mousesports have to read that if they win this round, they win the map.
Yeah, they just constantly know Astralis are going to be low. I think here they're actually, the question for Mousesports is, do they know it's a full buy? But they can play it like an anti-eco at first and try to get some information. Let's see if Astralis give them any tail. Some nades go back outside. They're not being shy right now. Bubsky already down to half HP. Rob's putting some damage down Squeaky. Bubsky with an angle over the smoke. And they are both being quite proactive early on in the round about peeking things. It feels like a duel is coming soon. And Dupree, I mean, his #1 job now is, how do I get to the right angle to be useful without falling for a nade and having to rotate? This is what, you know, Device was the king of, just being in the right place at the right time. Let's see if Dupree has that quality as well.
He has an incendiary, which could be crucial if there is to be an execute into this bomb site. But having the AWP, you need to be on that scope, so that could lead to some awkwardness.
Ooh, the read. They stack it.
1 minute on the clock for Mousesports.
Same position as last time, James. One outside, holding Robson lobby. Acor peeking into the ramp.
Oh, pop grenades are out. Glaive will start the proceedings. Zipex is here as well. The bomb won't get dropped just yet. You can see a little fallback now. Dupree with the off angle, the AWP. Fell back from the A bomb site, but look at the rotation from Mousesports and have a look at Frozen's position. I think he got some sound cues from the hot player as well, so there could be some real trouble here. Magisk has to be traded though. Bubsky and Magisk with 4 kills combined. That is crucial for Astralis. They survived with 4 players, exactly what they needed. That round just turned into a black hole very quickly.
That was so juicy. That position again, it's almost the exact same thing, and the writing was on the wall there. As soon as the Glaive gets his kill, could either be a continuation of the ramp and then almost this forced downstairs play, knowing that Dupree's still alive with the op. Instead, they rocket back to Squeaky where they had success in that previous round. Magisk has to get both kills, and Bubsky knows that he almost made a mistake. Dropping down the vents, he realizes, whoa, they might actually come back upstairs now, even though they just tested Glaive, and he still manages to get 2. Magisk with this play, getting flashed through the smoke. Bomb dropped in his vision with 2 more outside. Again, this is worse for the T's every day of the week. We have Rops inside watching the lobby crunch, but Glaive's eyes are peeled now.
And that one has escalated quickly as we head towards the clutch rounds. 13 apiece.
They waited out. Actually, Astralis don't get any info here inside the ramp. Dupree looking for the dual 8 car, a bit too sharp.
Glaive now trying to make something happen. This is disaster territory for Astralis. They don't have the money to back stuff up here like Mousesports do to some degree. They are in so much trouble. Now the numbers game is surely going to be abused by Mousesports. 1-for-1 trade leaving Zipex alone versus 3 players. We'll see if the clutch minister will go for it. Dexter by that CT vent. Zipex not being offered anything with ease.
You know, what's also been difficult, I think, for Zipex is these days, the saves are becoming much more common. You know, the 1v2s even oftentimes are not even worth attempting. If you got a 40% win rate, having this gun for the next round, it's less encouraging of clutches. It makes the clutches more special, but it also makes them more risky. And here's a round where I actually think Astralis make a mistake, okay? So they have a very similar setup, but they get the info with that play with Magisk. And the previous time they did this, they had Glaive follow up and like try to punish outside. Mousesports make a good play by actually staying outside and whatever, re-aggressing. But Astralis get no compensation off the information that they gained outside. They had the double setup on ramp, but they were a little bit maybe scared of Rops holding lobby. Nobody got into lobby, nobody got into ramp, and tried to get into a better spot for a fast rotation. Instead, they stayed back in the 4v4 and then played these far angles and let Mousesports get these 50-50s.
Looks like Astralis will have to play for overtime to make their best efforts. They would only require 2 rounds. Mousesports with such opportunity, they've got a full buy in the hole to some degree, especially if they plant a bomb in this round. Now, last time, we had lots of USPs on the A bomb site. The situation is somewhat different now that there are 3 Deagles and a P250. Incendiary and a high explosive as well. And they are never to be taken for granted in the hands of Astralis. And it starts with the Desert Eagle. Rops deleted, and Magisk is just going to run and pick up the rifle, it seems. A swarm around the lobby. They'll lose one, but they'll claim one as well.
He has armor as well. They have a AUG on top of this.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's crispy. He's mad.
4 versus 2. This is a catastrophe.
This is insane. They're going to need this duel. Mousesports have to win this swing, and they can. Another headshot for Magisk.
That angle is beautiful. He's further away from the point of contention there. Led Dexter into a trap and frozen now. 9 HP versus 3. Would be a career highlight if he could convert this one, but how on earth could he possibly? Look at the angle being held by Zipex. There's no chance. From out of nowhere. From out of nowhere.
Wow.
You spoke about Magisk's performance and it rising again. How about that?
Yeah, he's averaging like, 1.3 plus ratings in the last few games. I think all the games here at Flashpoint has been nothing but a star player. And he's playing the star player position here on CT side in front of the Squeaky. He's got to be the guy to stand on a swivel, fight outside, fight in Squeaky. These are not fun duels to take, but you are offered up a lot of ADR if you play your job perfectly. 14 now to 14. And anything goes. Mousesports fumble at the goal line. That's an opportunity to close out. They could have got 15 versus pistols, and now they've got a much harder round to win. But they've had a fantastic T side so far.
Magisk hears the grenades being deployed, moves closer to the vent. Bubsky now, it's his turn to hold things down. The bomb's been dropped on the A bomb site. Frozen and Rops remain. 4 Astralis players are up. They are back with a vengeance.
The tempo change comes in. but they falter. They can't actually get through upstairs. There's only 2 players there, but both of them deliver. Bubsky hasn't had much action from the back of the site, but when they've needed him, he hasn't choked. Those are 2 important kills, and just like that, after an eco round. And some of these rounds have been so strenuous and so long.
What a dramatic turn of events here. This has to be one of the most interesting games of Nuke I've seen. And my God, Mousesports are going to have to do this the hard way now. They were just pulling away control from Astralis, and individual performance from Magic's going to look at what we're left with. The AK, a hero weapon. Look at the lack of grenades for Mousesports.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can do 10 things right in a row, but as soon as you make one mistake, that's when you can actually just lose the match.
It's not lost yet, but my God, their percentages are so low right now. Dexter with the AK-47. Frozen close to a 30 bomb, but it might not be enough in round number 30. Dupree going fishing. Hold on a second. It is Frozen now on 27. Having a look-see. Catches Dupree in the middle of nowhere. Has he done enough, though? No weapons collected, but Mousesports are swarming towards B bomb site. Rops has a potential flank.
Oh!
And there's one from Dexter with that AK now. Suddenly, it's Magic and Bubsky alone. 2 versus 4. Mousesports fighting for overtime. This game of Nuke keeps on giving. Straight through the smoke and straight to the floor goes Magic, and it's Bubsky left now. 1 versus 4. Last round, he's got to go for it. Some grenades will be nice, but cosmetic in this round, perhaps. Oof. It's not over just yet, Launders.
It's only right. It's only right that we get OT. I think in this match, it's just delivered. It looks so even. 8-7 halves both ways. I think it's only right that we get overtime.
I want more. I want more action from here. I feel like the game's only just begun.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. And this is where, I mean, this is a true test of Dexter and what he's learned and how good, you know, because like everybody prepares up until regulation. You prepare for the full 15 and the half and each half. Once you get to OT, every gimmick's out the window. You've tried your hardest to win, and now you're playing off of the information from the match itself.
Show us what you've learned.
So exactly. What can Dexter do to read into the setups of Glaive? How much can he bring into these mid-round situations that get very tense? I honestly feel like he's out-called Glaive in a couple of these spots and looked really good. The same can be said for Astralis, who have shown their experience. No telling who wins the match at this point. Full money for both sides. Every option in the world. And I say that because
full money is $10,000, just to be clear.
Yeah,
which can be a problem for the CT side once we get to round 3.
For these opening rounds, yeah. You know, we don't have to see the multi-auto snipers and drop rifles and spawn. They actually have to think about how they spend their money. But the options for Mousesports are out there. I think one thing, Rops has commanded respect inside lobby. Almost never Astralis are pushing him in these situations. So when Mousesports are squeezing for outside control, ramp control, I think there is actually a good opportunity for them to win from that point, because I think the one weakness right now for Astralis that stands out to me is that they're a little bit afraid to go back and get compensation. But if they don't win that opening duel outside, that's Astralis' way into the round.
I like how Dupree's webcam is 4x3, black bars.
They're so dedicated, you know?
Right.
Just black bars no matter where they are.
When overtime strikes, there is an automated 2-minute timeout, which is soon to come to a close. The action is just around the corner, and perhaps this is the breather that both teams needed. Again, it is the case. We are in the section of the game where you show us what you've learned. We may see some unorthodox plays now, but that might be what's required to take things over the line.
I personally think when you're scrimming, this is where you start learning. The actual map and regulation, you get to try all of your different tricks. You find a bunch of different rounds, but this is the point where the DOMs come in. You start to really learn where you have such a good understanding of your opponent, and it just comes down to the minutia.
AWP out for both squads. Everybody fully equipped. Rops is missing 1 grenade. No flashbang for him. But apart from that, and Bubsky, we are in a position. The war will resume, and really, this is a war on. This is just the first map. Imagine if this was the deciding map. It would be utterly insane. We saw some crazy nukes yesterday, and it will continue here. Overtime, Astralis versus Mousesports. A huge match here at Flashpoint. And it continues. Frozen versus Glaive on the outside. Mousesports now with some pace. See what time they deploy the grenades outside. Just shy of 1:30. There's a Molotov deployed by Glaive to try and thwart some of these smoke grenades, but they're up reasonably. Spraying again is Glaive, quietly making his way into main now. Got to be careful though. Avoiding the bullet somehow. He has created a gap for himself, but Bemis has the angle first.
He sprays, he waits. A huge bait game in Dupree in a new location. He's been up there at the top of Secret, but this is more of a rotator spot. The T's get control of this position. They don't have to peek him.
He and Dupree will get some sound cues here.
I love the call here from Mousesports. Astralis' hand is forced a little bit with the amount of times that it's been downstairs, and now Mousesports go for heaven control. Dupree's almost always been inside of Secret somewhere. If this is just off of probabilities, this makes a lot of sense. And they pull the Bubsky rotation downstairs.
Ooh.
The lobby push comes out, which is only going to open up heaven, I think. Magis, last known location, and he could get bullied in the spot. Tries to control for the spray.
He found a bomb, but Astralis have got really bad positions. Acor's just conceded his spot. They can deal with him. Surely he won't be ready for this one. Still deploying grenades. There's no way he looks to his left. Dupree's got to have a better angle. 3v3. The bomb's not even planted just yet. 15 seconds. They've got to plant it for heaven now. It's their only option. And Bemis holding things down. They can see Zipex trying to take that plant away. That makes it a 2 versus 3. Dupree waiting for a peek from Bemis. Whose role is it to have a look towards main? We can see some jump peeking from default. You can see Frozen knows what's going on, so Bemis unlikely to peek just yet. Almost, he's threatening to. Dupree's waiting for it, and this is burning the clock down. But in the meantime, Bubsky is abusing this to move forward. Rop's deleted now. I don't think they've seen Frozen jumping at default, and there he is. Dupree now 1 versus 2, but the best chances have come and gone, and he's got to fall away.
That was actually perfectly played on the retake by Astralis, but also BMAS not peeking, overextending in heaven. The only way to draw him out in that spot was to have Bubsky get the second kill, and then it would have been Astralis to be able to win the round. Zipex knowing that he can do, the only thing he can do from this position is hold the strong line, make sure Bubsky doesn't get peeked, but they needed Bubsky to get both kills. It was well orchestrated, but the numbers advantage there were for Mousesports, and they didn't falter. They won at least one of their 50-50s. They win the rounds, and overall, it's a great round from BMS and just a great mid-round from Dexter. I think going for heaven made a lot of sense here, based on where we've seen Dupree most often, and they take over the round that way after that kill on Glaive. There's so much emphasis on that opening duel.
1 round in the bag, and you can already see the shortcomings for Astralis if they lose this one as well. Zipex on $450, so the pressure is high. We've seen individual performance from both squads when they've had a hero rifle from a pistoling player, but that may come later. We shall see. Mousesports looking to breach the ramp, see if there's a pop flash for them. Just emerging through the smoke. They could line up for Zipex here. This could be brutal. It could be, but it won't be. Bemis ready for it. Separating the two, but Magisk again having impact in the lobby, taking 2 players out. Man advantage as they move towards the B bomb site, and Dupree is on the chase. Moving around with the AWP. He has some position for his team. Acor taking control of control. But Astralis have intentions in that direction. That's quite a meaty flashbang, but he still has angles, Acor. Dexter looking to open the doors and help out. Good for 1, closes the door and he's out of there, or is he? Oh. Dupree will deny him a no-scope, leaving Bemis in a 1 versus 3. There's a trade from Magisk and a much-needed round for Astralis.
Yeah, a great retake. Again, this time it works out because they have the numbers. That opening kill can mean the world, but this time it's Magisk, who's just been a beacon of hope for Astralis here, pushing in through Squeaky, knocking down both Robs and Frozen like bowling pins inside the lobby as they were trying to put pressure on Squeaky with their nades, and that just saves the day. If not for that, I mean, this round is pretty much over. Faces the smoke inside of the Squeaky and shuts down the game plan for Mousesports entirely. Don't expect Astralis to, win a man advantage retake like that downstairs. These are very close situations, but into the late round, whoever's favored is winning more often because both teams are playing very well. So, okay, a round apiece. Where will we land?
Last round of overtime, only 1 Mousesports player has upgraded from a Glock. Acor has a Deagle, everybody else still with Glocks, so that's something to think about for the future. Rops will be dispatched of in this final round of the first half of overtime, but Acor has a superior angle to Dupree, and the numbers are tied once again. That may limit the aggression from Glaive, or will it? Dancing around the smokes in the garage. Drops a flash, avoided by Acor, but there's a man advantage again for Astralis. And Glaive slips away. So many smokes up, so many options for him. And he is out of there.
Yeah, smart enough to know. The only key to victory that they need at this point is to get into one-and-done positions. It's not always the case, but in a spot like this, they've got more than enough. Glaive is still being frisky outside, actually. This is honestly a way back in for Mousesports, but it looks like for him the round is not done yet. Op coming back to try to trade him. Glaive's got some ants in his pants.
This is killing time for Mousesports as well. Glaive's just slowing them down, just becoming a nuisance. Vermin in the garden that he can't quite get rid of. But a jump peek there. How about that for a smoke grenade? Anything could be behind that. 28 seconds now. Mousesports may feel stuck. Zipex going on an expedition. Bubsky with a very aggressive angle. Control may be a problem, though. It may concede his position. You can see him moving over now as the door is open. Wins the duel with Dexter, traded by Acor. Mollies are down. 14 seconds to plant a bomb. That is quite a shot from Acor, and it gives Mousesports a chance. Suddenly, Glaive versus 2, creeping by double doors. They're open. There's the pick from Beamers, and he deletes again. Huge headshot to give Mousesports a round lead at halftime.
No way, they pulled that back after so much work done by Glaive outside. Another fantastic round from BMAS here on T side. And now I guess this is Mousesports' game to lose. Every round could be worth its weight in gold. We don't know. So this will be, you know, if this goes to 18-18, we go into another overtime. Mousesports only need 2 to win at this point. And I guess we see why Glaive was so frisky outside. He really didn't feel like the round was done, and for good reason. That was such an unlikely round, in my opinion. I'm shocked to see Mousesports be able to pull that back. But a fantastic shot underneath the fire for Acor to that ramp rotate.
That was
crispy.
Yeah, he was. That was a flow of consciousness from Acor. He's in the zone of the AWP. That was huge.
He's so fast, it's hard to tell sometimes if it's pre-fires or not.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of plays that you want to see from Acor. Again, a man who needs to stamp his authority in the AWP position for Mousesports. That is one way to do it. High pressure round as well. Very important kill from him. We'll see if there's more in the tank now as he moves to the CT side of Mousesports. Looking for 19 rounds for a victory. Mousesports need 2. Astralis need 3. Some Lego building from Astralis towards the ramp. So they wait for a peek from Mousesports. And again, that Astralis pace resumes once they move to the T side once again. Lots of guesswork for Mousesports and off angles.
Looks like we've run it back to the beginning of the game almost with the style and brand of T side that Astralis are playing here. Glaive looking to get a lurk off fully downstairs, not expecting Acor to be in this rotation. And this allows his other teammates to move around a little bit more freely, but of course Acor is smarter than to just sit in a spot and wait.
40 seconds for Astralis.
Refreshing the smoke on Squeaky is enormous for guising where the CTs can go, if they're going to be in mini or how many are upstairs.
Yeah, they're pretty spread out now. 29 seconds on the clock. Makes me wonder, is the bomb... Well, are the teammates going to head towards ramp? Is it going to be event play?
No way.
Oh my god, that timing is utterly ridiculous. That's a death punching moment for Acor. And Bubsky now. Bubsky and Magisk allow things to turn around. Zipex catches the rotation. That is a curse. How do they do this? That is black magic. That's sorcery.
The tiniest string on a ball of yarn. It pulls, it gets pulled. The entire round falls on its face. Acor didn't even move from that spot. All he did was camp his position, came up to re-smoke Squeaky, went right back, said, nobody else needs help? We all good? I'm going to stay in this spot, then locks it down. And it is the spot that Astralis go to, and they dry peek him as well.
It turns on a dime.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Perfect timing. That is
no matter who
brutal.
You're cheering for, you have to put yourself in his shoes.
That's the sheer brutality of even witnessing that is just something else.
Yeah. That's a live leak.
That engagement is the round.
Oh my god.
He's still got money.
Yeah, they're so good actually.
I can't believe that.
Wow, just like that.
It's just not fair, is it?
After Mousesports fought so hard and won that last round from like the 2-on-3 or whatever. And I mean, credit to Astralis. Once they got that kill, they recognized the opportunity. Like, oh my god.
It's like, if I was Mousesports, I would press Q now.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? They're just in that. I don't know. You could say, you know, where was he gonna go from that spot? But geez, so unlucky, so unlucky. Okay, Glaive, there's a crack on the smoke, but he gets past. They try to put some spam damage down. They put some pressure on Frozen and watch his back. And this is part of the magic of being able to cross in early. Robs makes this hasty rotation downstairs. Ramp is open for a second. Dexter also meets him down here. And I like the confidence here from Mousesports, but it looks like Astralis are actually peeling back out of lower. So they're the ones who win. Again, rotations downstairs are easy. Rotations back up are hard. So as soon as those CTs start coming down, this is when the Ts start to feel more confident.
I don't know. Oh, that's a lot of targets for Acor. Hits one of them. And I think Frozen may have heard the scope from Secret earlier on.
Oh,
just though
man.
further away from the point of contention, and he only needs half a chance. Heading towards Heaven now. There were some audio cues there. Dexter on the flank. He could drop the bomb, but Zipex has the angle. It's information for Astralis at least, if not a frag. That's got to speed them up, surely. Magisk now towards Heaven. Glaive holding the angle, and Bemis has got a nice one. That's the bomb on the radar as well. Dropping off. We can see Bubsky looking for the hunt, but he's got to be careful of main as well. He will get the kill he's looking for. Magisk on the outside, still holding angles now, as he looks to plant the bomb towards main, but Bubsky has dropped 1 versus 2. Magisk commits, and Acor is here. A careful shot from him, and Mousesports find themselves with game points.
Doesn't play it scared at all. Could have actually had lots of time to get on that bomb, get off, and Acor just smartly peeks out into the duel, confident in himself. Yeah, it could have been a 1v1 if he lost, but we don't see that version of history. Instead, Mousesports 1 away from actually closing this match out. Again, it's just so hard fought. I mean, the kills that Magisk gets are just so insane. I mean, I feel like he barely has a chance and wins his duels. Now, Zipex was in a key position to win this round. If he actually wins his duel versus Secrets, then probably Astralis win the game. And he chose on his own terms to be in that spot to watch Secret. He hasn't been incredibly sharp this game. That duel catches up with him. We okay?
Glaive on roller skates outside. Some water went down the wrong pipe, but I'm all right. Thank you. We've got 3 more from Astralis, waiting for the smoke to go. Frozen now. Playing off of Acor's AWP, it seems. A little jiggle, a crouch peek. And Acor is dead. A burst from Frozen. Can't find a transfer, however. 4 versus 3. Beamer's popping out. Great headshot from him. And he falls back. Does not outstay his welcome. 3 versus 3. Minute 13 on the clock. Rob still lurking with the second AWP.
Is Dexter ready watching Heaven? Pushing in right now. They're about to meet here. Dexter fully prepared.
Is that the frag? Oh. That really changed everything. Rops now drops the bomb, which leaves Zipex with a lot to do. There's enough personnel for that bomb to be well protected. It's behind blue. Zipex has no grenades, no smoke, no flash, nothing. Just has to play and find these entries. Not sure if anyone's close enough to hear him moving just yet. 44 seconds to find 3 kills. Rops going deep outside. That's a huge headshot for Zipex. 35 seconds now to make a play. We've got a lurk smoke from Dexter and Bemis with the sound cues by CT Vent.
This would be unbelievable, to be honest. He's got the bomb, 25 seconds. Not much room to rotate back and forth. Not much room to fake plant if you'd like to. Molly comes down to the vent, doesn't expect his opponent to be there just yet. Opportunity now to plant. Anyone in decon? No. But we've got a CT coming from Con. That's the round done with. That's the map done with. And Mousesports finally, after getting to the round 30, being forced into OT after messing up an eco, pull it off in overtime.
That was a massive game of Nuke. One of the strongest games, I think, from both sides I've seen in a very long time. That was really, really awesome to watch. And it's just the beginning of the series. Maybe some frustration on the faces of Astralis with how that one played out. Things